Hello and welcome to my channel. I am Zodiac Bandit, and today we're going to be recapping the first episode of the Age of Umbra Daggerheart mini-series. I'm super excited to get into this and talk about it. However, there are two things I want to mention before we get into the nitty-gritty of the recap. So the first thing I want to mention is their intro for the mini-series is really sick. I love the live-action stuff, the black and white, the rain, the grim fantasy aspect of it all. It looks really cool, and it honestly makes me miss live action intros for the main campaigns. Campaign 3 had a live action one, they all had a live action one, and honestly there's a certain amount of charm that comes along with seeing that, and I kind of want that again for campaign 4. I just hopefully, hope this time people don't hate it for some reason, but ultimately I think there's a certain amount of charm to this one and I really like it a lot. The second thing I want to mention before getting into the recap is I am not a lore expert or even like mildly like all that connected to the lore of Umbra quite yet, so I'm still learning about it quite a lot. So if you were here for like a lore summary of what happened before, that's not happening. I'm going to be recapping what the players do. There's a ton of videos out there that are like describing what the Age of Umbra is and what led to it, so there's a bunch of those you can watch. I am not super familiar with it yet, to the point where I don't want to speak on it quite yet. So you're not getting that here. Sorry if that's what you were looking for. But with that all being said, we can get into the recap of the Age of Umbra Episode 1. We start on a dark night in the jungles of Aurora. By the way, one last thing. Names, they're fresh and they're new. If I get them wrong, I'll fix them. Just putting that out there. We see Snicks, Sam's character, running through the jungle. He's a young fawn ranger, and he looks like a goat. One of his horns are broken, and he's holding a package as he runs through the forest, through the jungle. He is running his ass off, and he looks terrified. He's been running for so long, trying to get to Desperlock. He feels pain in his shoulder as something may have hit him, but suddenly, things get really quiet. He might be okay. There's suddenly a large shape crashing through the brush, and a mutated bear-like creature with bone spines poking through its hide and 7 rows of teeth in its horrific mouth are now looking at him. Snicks falls backwards and starts running again. He tries to avoid the claws and darts between 2 trees. He makes an agility roll to see if he can do it without the bear noticing. He uses a hope point to use his expertise, Spineless Coward, to aid him in this roll. He rolls with his fear and hope dies, and he gets 2s on both, which means it's a critical success, gaining a hope back for spending it on his experience. He springs off and evades the claws of the bear. He quickly outruns the bear, finding his paths that he needs to. He can now see the sacred pyre of Desperlock off in the distance, which means safety is near. He might make it. He grips his package tight and uses his Wayfinder ability to find the shortest path to the place that he's been to before. His instincts kick in and he's getting closer to the town, but the bear is gaining ground. He can see 4 members of the Vigil holding torches on top of the slag wall, which surrounds the town of Desperlock. They yell who goes there, and Snicks yells that it's him and they know him. He sees movement ahead but hears the bear gaining ground. He casts Vicious Entangle on the ground where the bear would be to trap it. He rolls a 10 with fear, which means he fails with fear. He messed up his timing, and the vines actually grab him, and he slams onto the ground. The bear is now on top of Snicks. It swipes at him, and it hits him, dealing 12 damage, which means it's a severe bit of damage to Snicks, so he takes 3 hit points of damage, or he uses a armor point to reduce it to 2. Snicks feels the pain and is now 15 feet away from where he initially was as he was thrown to the side by the bear. The bear then charges at him. Snicks still has his package in his hands. He looks at the slag wall and he uses his deft maneuver ability and he marks a stress point, and he can run anywhere within a far range without making an agility roll. He then sprints over to the slag wall in a very quick flash, and the slag wall is a makeshift wall with many rocks on the inside covered in molten metal, or what was once molten metal. He uses his Caprine Leap ability, I hope I'm saying that right, to jump on top of the wall. As he reaches the top of the wall, he sees the Vigil starting to shoot arrows at the bear behind him to protect him. He sees the 15-foot tall pyre in the center of Desperlock. He lands on the ground inside the city on the other side of the wall. He hears a slam that hits the wall behind him as the bear has slammed its body into it. It holds, luckily. A vigil member passes him as he goes up. Sticks knows him. It's Ghost Hook Branreith. This person has gone on many journeys across this domain. Others follow him over top of the slag wall to kill the bear. He hears the cries of the bear as it dies, and the townsfolk come out to see what just happened. A young man asks Snicks if he's okay, and he says that he is, but the young man says that he should go to Turvo, who can patch him up. Snicks has bear claws across his chest, very deep and are bleeding quite heavily. This young man helps Snicks walk through the town. They hear horns of victory sounding off behind them. The two walk to the main central point of the town. This town was built on a partially toppled monastery, which is still seen, or what's left of it, is still seen on the rocky cliff face off in the distance. That monastery is where much of the research in the Luzal vault takes place. Many huts and cabins and leather tarps all over the place make up most of the buildings in the city. People go about their business where events and gatherings and judgments happen here in the center of the town by the voted-in government. There's maybe 300 people in this town total. We then see Idle, Travis's character, run out to check on things, a human seraph holding his halberd. He sees the vigil put their weapons away. He sees Branreith as well. He knows him. Branreith says that it's been handled. He looks older than he actually is, but that's the type of life you expect in Umbra. He is built like a brick shithouse as well. He moved in about 5 years ago to the settlement after his settlement fell. He says the woods grow more restless, and he points to Snicks as he limps away. Idle runs off to go help Snicks. He knows the boy helping Snicks is Norin. Snicks tries to make it seem like there are more bears than he actually fought off, just so he doesn't look as bad. Idle asks what it was. Every time Snicks goes out, things change. Familiar beasts change all the time. He says it only matters that it's not inside the town with them, because realistically trying to keep track of shit is impossible. Idle asks if he heard anything calling out to him as he was being chased. Snicks didn't. They reach a leather hut, clearly a healer's hut, as there's a bunch of herbs outside of it. They head inside, and it's lightly lit in here by the pyre that's very close to it. There's a bubbling pot inside. A shape turns inside the tent, and they see Turvo, the hedge, an older male Galapa, the healer of the village. They've been here for a very long time. However, he is prone to panic when there's too many people who are injured around him. Turvo sees the wounds and says that he'll take care of Snicks, and Norin leaves. Snicks is patched up by Turvo. Snicks asks if he needs to pay for this, and Turvo says no, just stay alive. Snicks notes that that's not actually a very good business, but Turvo says it's just about staying alive and keeping people alive. It's very warm in this tent, mostly because of the pyre outside. There are two pyre keepers on watch. This is where we meet Brixton, Marisha's character, a orc guardian. She looks over at Turvo's tent as she watched the commotion happen. She knows Snicks and hopes that he's okay as she grips her sword beneath her robes that she's trying to keep hidden. She thinks that Snicks is very useful. Across from her on the other side of the pyre is a female dwarf in her 40s. This is Firekeeper Ramond. She notices Brixton looking at the tent, and Brixton explains what happened to Snicks. Ramond is happy he's okay because he was supposed to find her a book while he was out. Ramond tells her to go check on Snicks and that she will keep watch. Brixton heads over to Turvo's tent. She heads inside and she's greeted by Snicks immediately. Brixton asks if he's okay and he explains what happened. Turvo's claws are very dark red with his blood at this point. Brixton asks how Orkros was. He says it was great over there. He says, but the whole world does still suck, but they have it figured out pretty well with their walls and their gates, and they have good food. Snicks says that he talked to Alina. Hopefully saying that right. I'm hopefully saying a lot of these names right. I'm probably not. Brixton asks if she looks healthy. Snicks said that she has a letter from her, and she did look healthy, and she was fine. Brixton can't pay him, and Snicks says that it's not about business, it's about keeping people safe. Seems she learned that lesson pretty quick. Brixton calls him brave for what he did, and wishes she was as brave as him. Snicks says that she is very brave. These two are flirting a little bit. Turvo notes that what Brixton does keeps everyone in the town safe, and is a great joy to the town. Snicks gets to heal 2 hit points after being healed up by Turvo. Brixton heads out, but before she does, Snicks hands her Ramon's book. It's missing the last chapter, though. Brixton leaves and immediately reads the letter. The letter says, B, your last letter sounded worried. Do not be, I appreciate your concern. Orkros is calm and I've started a garden. I have lots of herbs and I filled in the dry patches with rocks and stones that I collect. How goes Desperlock? I trust you are guarding the pyre with your strength and passion. You truly are a hero. Please take care of yourself and the one who carries these letters. He's strange and handsome. Do not worry about me missing you, but I will visit one day soon, I hope. Best, Alina. There's a bit of jealousy from Brixton when she reads that about Snicks. The nice words about Snicks. She then heads back to her post and gives the book to Ramon. Ramon quickly hides it as they see Amber Warden Sheena making a walkabout. She's as old as they come. She's probably been around since the last age. And she's making sure that the two of them are at their post working properly. Brixton puts some logs on the flames. She knows that the pyre burns slowly, which is a good thing. They don't have to, terraform the fucking forest around them. But it leaves a lot of time to their thoughts because it takes forever for the logs to burn. Brixton pictures Orkros and a lovely garden and life, what life would be outside of the wall. Idle then walks about and he walks past a blacksmith heading towards a safe place for him. He feels a slap on the back of his shoulder, and it's Erin Lothrut, a mid-teens female dwarf, very cheerful as the youth are, because they don't understand the world yet. She asks what happened, and Idle explains that monsters that she's never seen before attack Snicks. Erin asks if he wants to see Paw. Idle asks if she's going to go see Snicks. She says no, she wants to talk to the Delvers about some autonomy. Idle doesn't think that that's a good idea for her specifically, as she doesn't really follow the rules. He asks if they will talk to them together, like she wants him to go with him, and she says they respect Idle more than they respect her because she's so young. Idle says that she's accomplished, but he has to side with her dad on this one to keep her safe. He says that they'll talk to the Delvers, but he tells her to not be disappointed if things don't go her way. As they walk, they hear skittering in a bush. Things don't normally get in this deep into the city, or into the town, I mean. He rolls an instinct check and gets a crit. What is happening? They're rolling doubles everywhere. He suddenly feels the need to protect Erin and pulls her back. Stepping out of the bush is August, Talzin's character. A fairy wizard stands there before them. He is a giant fucking spider, and I hate that so much, deeply. He has a large sewing needle at his side. It's about a foot long. Idle grabs him by his shirt, and he told him not to sneak up on him again. Idle says that there are some people you just shouldn't sneak up on. He asks what August is doing, and August says that he was digging for things to eat and maybe make some tea. Erin asks if he told Paul that he was digging through his yard, and Erin says that he won't rat him out for it, but he should do better as Pa is letting them all stay here. Idle tells Erin that they should actually leverage this on August. Erin then runs off to go check up on Pa. Idle fills in August on what happened to Snicks, and the two then start to head towards Pa's place. They are on Pa's land. There is a storage shed on Pa's land, and there's a window. And sitting next to the window in the shadow, listening to someone, is Misty, Ashley's character. A stone clank bard that stands about 8 feet fucking tall and is covered in hornet's nest, moss, and vines. She has drawings on her that's been, kind of like graffiti, but one of the drawings on her skirt was made by a young child. She has 4 sets of wings. She's like one of the largest minis I think we've ever seen for a player character. It's crazy. She hears a man speaking behind her, and she's barely listening to him as he's rambling on. It's Old Man Garrick, a farmer dwarf. It seems to be Erin's father. He has heavy wounds on his face, very scarred up. He's reading a book to Misty, and she asks him to read the page again as she was looking outside, ignoring what he was saying before. He closes the book and sees that they have company. Misty helps him up as he's very old. They welcome Idle and August back, but immediately Idle rats out August for what he was doing. Erin smacks him on the back of the head, him being August. Garrick says it's alright and that what he needs he can have. Misty asks what happened outside, and Erin explains excitedly what happened to Snicks. The whole group then go inside to set up dinner inside the farmhouse. An evening of safety progresses, which is rare in these times. That's why these settlements are so important. They allow for hope and rest. Some have odd visions during the night. 2 stone pillars framing a mountainous doorway. An endless mist spilling out purple and red lights, almost stained glass arising. A crown in a pedestal, flames burning, flames shut, towers bending, angels singing and then screaming. And then morning comes. Morning is standard around these parts. There's not much to do. Books are contraband. Most are hoarded by the libraries in the ruins of the Amber Reach. For any book could hold the truth of the lost age and could change the current age. Dark clouds hang above. It's as bright as it will be during the day under these dark clouds. They see the monastery above on the cliff, an echo of the old world and one of the holy sites of the God King. It's the focus of Desperlock's secrets. It could hold the secrets to bring back the gods or to keep people safe. The monastery is unreachable because the sheer cliff face. It's unreachable by normal means. But beneath it are the catacombs and vaults. They hoard the knowledge and the power that it kept. Part of the monastery crumbled away, which made the backbone of Desperlock. Some wish to reap what was once hidden inside. A large part of this community is called the Scholars of Luzal. Researchers and delvers work with them. Sellswords also fight alongside them as they frontline units as they push into the vaults. Many of the Vigil also Moon Knight as sellswords for the vault incursions. They work their way to recover and to remove the corruption within the vaults. Many scholars are already about. Everyone hears another horn sound off. Not a horn of victory, but a horn of arrival. The gates open and 5 figures rush in. There are many hired vault soldiers here, and Raskello, one of the 2 main Delver organizers, a human man. All 5 are gravely injured. They left initially with 10, but only 5 return. The gates close and many start to watch. Misty and August see this. The 2 are going to take a look at what's happening, but they're going to hang back a little bit. Garrick, the farmer owner, runs out to check on it as well, and the rest head to the main area of the scholar setup, where the scholars have set up shop in the town. The scholars are trying to figure out a rescue mission for those left behind. Raskello says that he thinks they found it. They found the gate. They just took some hits getting there. He then falls to one knee. Idrova, one of the many scholars here, lifts them up, and Raskello says that they lost 4 and burned their bodies, but he thinks they found the door to the firmament's Horror. They kept saying filaments Horror before, but that's not correct. It's firmaments. Matt corrects himself later. They beat the guardian that was at the gate. He is bleeding very badly. The people start to yell for Tuvo to come and help them out. Raskello says that he's close and he must see the monastery. He's earned it. Idrova says that he needs to recover and this is above him. This is the scholar's jurisdiction and he has done his job. She then turns to the scholars to talk amongst themselves. Keep in mind, he's just one of the Delver organizers. Idle takes Aaron and they try to make their way to Raskello. He tries to see if Raskello will make it without any immediate care, and with an instinct roll, he gets double fucking 12s, which means he crits again. He can see that Raskello is very hurt and he's been stabbed badly. He's likely to survive, but he'll be down for weeks. Raskello pushes healers away from him and he says that no one will take this from him. Idle asks Idrova if he can take Raskello off their hands so he can be patched up. She says yes, but to not let him die. Aaron and Idle take Raskello away from the crowd. They try to hide him around a corner, and Misty and August actually come up to help them. The appearance of Misty actually makes Raskello do a double take. He's just staring at her now for the entire conversation. But he accepts her help. Idle inspects Raskello, and his hands begin to glow. Misty blocks the hand's view from anyone else. He uses Sparing Touch on Raskello, healing him. Idle says information is power, and he wants to know what Raskello knows and wants to help. Raskello, however, is currently locked in on Misty, the stone figure. The wounds close and he is able to breathe in again. Raskello then asks how he did that, and Idle says that Garrick vouches for Misty and he shouldn't be too surprised by her. Misty has to make a presence roll, and she gets a 14 with hope. August then takes a look at Raskello as well, and he can see that he'll live, but he'll need a few days to recover. August then begins stitching him up a bit with a thread that comes out of his mouth because he's a fucking spider. This character gives me the heebie-jeebies. And Taliesin did that on purpose, but still. Idle says that they've asked for trust by what he has seen, and he thinks that they can be a great help to Raskello. Aaron says that she's been all over the vaults, so she can help. Raskello says that they lost men, and one of them might still be in there. Idle says if they really found the Firmament's Harrow, he and Aaron can help them out a lot. Raskello says that he'll talk to Etwashi, I believe that's how you say the name, if they have a crew that can help bring Valk back. Idle knows Valk Draven more. He's a member of the Vigil and a very powerful male Qatari. He moonlights as a sellsword for the vaults. Raskello says that he was wounded, but they found no body. He tells them to go find Valk. Idle says that they'll go as soon as possible if the leadership wouldn't mind. Raskello tells them to gather their things and to not fuck this up. He tells them to not enter the monastery without him, though. He says it is his to uncover. Raskello then heads back to the Scholars. The party is excited to now have a job. Misty asks if they're going to go up there, and she points to the monastery on the cliff. Idle says they should start with just getting Valk and bringing him back. The Firmament's Hollow is a gate that might lead to the monastery and more vaults. The party are told to leave within the hour and have been given permission to leave the city, or the town. Erin is excited. She knows where they're going, but thinks that the three of them, including, or not including her, isn't quite enough. Idle tells Erin to go find Snicks, to help them out, because he knows his way around. Misty notes that it'll be good to have more people in case someone doesn't come back, and then Erin runs off a little mad that they need another guide, because she feels like she's a good enough guide. She runs off to Turvo's tent. She tells Snicks that he's coming with them, not really telling him what they're doing. Before he can say no, she pulls him up. She informs him that they're going into the vaults, and he actually says no. He tends to work alone and thinks the vaults are scary. She ignores him and tells him how they're going to get there. He says people die in there all the time. They don't know what they're going to be doing. He says they'll need someone brave and strong to go with them. Aaron asks who he thinks is good enough, and he says Brixton. He'll go if she wants him to go. Again, there seems to be a little bit of romantic tension between Snicks and Brixton, but maybe that's just me. Maybe I'm picking up on something that isn't there. Aaron yells for Brixton, who is already there, listening to the conversation. Snicks says that he's going on a mission and will be very dangerous, and Brixton just says yes, she'll go. She was listening to them the whole time and wants to go. Aaron explains that they need to save Valk, and Idle then suddenly comes up, and Aaron tells him that they have 2 more members for the party. Aaron and Idle tell them that they'll get paid quite well for this. Snicks says stuff is actually very important for him because he needs to be able to trade in other settlements, so he'll do it. The whole group is now at the tent. Brixton says that this is her destiny calling, and she says that their payment will be honor and glory. Snicks is not very big on that, but suddenly Sheena is behind Brixton and calls her name. Brixton turns to the Amber Warden. Sheena asks why Brixton will be going beyond the wall. Her duty is here to protect the pyre. Brixton says that her duty extends beyond the wall for the town. She wants to extend herself for Desperlock and its people. She must make a presence roll, and Misty aids her to give her some help. She rolls a 24 with hope. Sheena sighs. Brixton says that she has hope that they can return the valley to the glory it once knew. Sheena says that she chose her because she saw a seed of glory and importance in Brixton. She became important in Sheena's stead, and to be a pyre keeper is a great honor. Brixton says that this isn't abandonment of her position, but an extension of one. Sheena says that her job is to protect the pyre, and kindling it is just one way to do that. To keep others who see its boons safe is another. She's allowed to go, but must not fail her or her order. Brixton says that she won't, and Sheena leaves. Brixton says that they must go before she changes her mind. Snicks is still confused on what exactly they're doing, and Idle says that they're trying to find Valk. Snicks asks what Idle gets out of this, and Idle says higher station with the Delvers and a bit more respect. Aaron says if they find stuff, they can also just not report it and keep it for themselves. August asks if Idle wants Aaron to go in a stealthfully manner. Idle doesn't really want her to come with. So August sneakily casts Slumber on Aaron to make her fall asleep. He rolls a 28 with fear. August takes a stress point as he's worried that Garrick might have seen what just happened. Luckily, he's not around. They take a map off of Aaron's unconscious body. It has no labels on it, however. They make their way back to Garrick's place so they can put Aaron back to bed. Misty thinks that was a wise move. Idle leaves a note for her saying not to follow them and that he's sorry for what they had to do. They gather supplies and they head out past the slag wall in the midday. As they head towards the mountains, Raskello has marked on their map where his group went, and they should follow the blue flames that they sort of leave behind to light their last path. Snicks is leading the way as he's traveled the most around these parts. Misty wanted to lead, but is a bit nervous about it. Snicks asks where she's from, and Brixton says that she's actually from the old world, and they must respect her because of it. Snicks is confused by this, but Misty just says that she is a living relic. Misty explains that she was made to worship the old gods back in the old days. Snicks asks how she came back, and Misty simply says that she found her way back to the statue, or at least found her way to the statue. It felt familiar. She has memories, but she's not sure if they're hers or from the statue. She thinks that she died and wandered around a bit and found her way to the statue after August found it and cleaned it up a bit. Snicks is worried that she's undead, but the others confirm that she's not. Misty says that she makes people nervous a lot, and she wonders if maybe it is because she's undead. But the rest confirm that that's not the case. It's just because of what she is and what she represents as something of the old world, which is a little scary for a lot of people. Idle says it's because she's actually very large, though. Brixton asks if Misty was her name before, and Misty says August actually named her that. August notes that it used to be Mystery, but it got shortened on the way here, and I actually quite like that name. Brixton notes that Misty likely has a connection to the old gods. Misty says that she has memories that she doesn't think are her own. Idle asks Snicks to keep this information close, as other people in Desperlock might not be so understanding. Misty thinks maybe she'll get to go home at the end of all of this if they do well enough. Snicks says that it's dangerous out here and it's best to run and scatter if things go wrong and something attacks them. Idle doesn't think that that's a great idea and they should stick together, better strength in numbers. Snicks says that's what you do if you can fight. Snicks then makes an instinct roll to lead the way. He rolls a 9 with hope. They hear the sounds of the forest all around them. They know they can't stay still for too long or the jungle will take them. Brixton takes off her old robes to reveal a plate mail that she wears underneath, and she sheathes her sword on her back. Snicks knows the safe paths between settlements, and this path that they're on is new to him. He gets lost a few times, but doesn't tell the others that this happens. He just makes it seem like this was the correct path the whole time. It takes longer than it should have, but they eventually reach the base of the mountain. Snicks takes a point of stress for his mild fail. They are now at the entrance of the vaults. It's a massive double-doored gateway that leads into a dark expanse. There's a few tents set up for the delvers and the researchers outside as a sort of way station. But they have to push into the cavern as they have someone to find. The lights on the set actually fucking change, and dear God, is it cool. Like, seriously, I hopefully can put a picture up because it is so cool. If I don't have a picture, just look it up. It's so cool. It's so cool. The smell of decay fills the air. It's old in here. Idle tells the others that Velk still worships the gods and might have left a few things behind as worship that they can find and track him with. They see the blue flames, and they see the map is a little bit off. Brixton is going to follow the map with her knowledge roll, and August aids. She rolls a 17 with hope. They push forward, and they eventually find a structure, both old and new, as people are, fixing things and building new things to make it easier to traverse in these tunnels. The sound in here grows still, no wind, no air. Their movements echo out. The blue flames, they suddenly see some blue flames and tables and chairs. This is another crossroads section. This area has been lit a bit. There's supposed to be a right turn here, but the direction that they came from and where they're going seems to fade and they get lost a little bit. August looks for footsteps and rolls a knowledge roll of 20 with hope. He sees many footsteps. This place is an intersection for many of the tunnels here. There's also old bodies and bone that seem to be part of the surrounding area and built into the walls. It seems that they've been, crushed and left behind. They feel a flash of heat and an omnipresent warmth suddenly. They see red crystals all around them on the walls and one on the ceiling. A red crystal falls from the ceiling and a red jelly forms where it lands and it bursts into flames. The flame picks up around where it landed and it gets really hot in here now. They talk about where to go next, but suddenly a skull in the wall is filled with this red jelly and pushed out from the wall itself and is now a jelly skeleton thing. The bones are pulled from the wall. They think it's best to leave. August takes out his massive sewing needle and casts Ice Spike at the skull. His sewing needle seems to be his wand. He hits, dealing 4 damage with a hope. The ice then turns into mist, however. They turn to run, and there's suddenly skeletons behind them that appear. It's map time, and it looks so sick. I would say it's time to roll initiative, but there is no initiative in Daggerheart. So Idle swings his halberd for the jelly thing, and hits with hope, dealing 14 damage. It suddenly splits into 2, and then both of them swing for Idle. Both hit and deal 5 damage total to him, meaning he takes 1 hit point of damage, using his armor to block some of the damage that he took, but he is still set on fire. Brixton then attacks the skeleton that's behind the group, missing with hope. That skeleton then attacks her and misses her. Matt uses a fear point to make the jellies attack August for 5 damage, and he is now on fire as well. From around a corner, 2 more skeletons then appear. Misty is up. She casts Enrapture. Everyone hears music that is kind of sad coming from her being. It's sort of like a wind instrument. It hits one of the skeletons, and she makes it mark a stress point, but she also has to mark one as well. That's the exchange of the spell. Snicks then looks at the map and tries to figure out where they're going, using his background feature and his experience to help him. Idle also gives him a prayer dice, which gives him a 17 total with fear. He tells them to follow the blue flames like they already knew, and he is better at reading the map than everyone else. The 2 jellies then attack. One hits Snicks for 2 damage, meaning 1 hit point. A skeleton swings for Misty and misses. Matt then spends another fear point to activate a skeleton, and it swings for her again, misses. August then casts Ice Spike next to Idle to help him snuff out the flames using the ice, I assume. He rolls. Something about that didn't make sense to me. Like, why? Like, wouldn't that melt the ice? I get what he's going for, I guess, but a little weird. He rolls a 24 with fear. August takes a hit point of damage for being on fire. Idle uses the Ice Spike to put the flames out with a crit. Seems it was worth it. Brixton swings for a skeleton and hits with fear, dealing 13 damage, destroying the skeleton. She then runs towards the blue flames, rolling an agility to go a far distance. She rolls a 6 with fear. She hits her shin off a box as she runs, and she takes a stress point and only gets about halfway to where she was trying to go. The jellies go again. Both of them miss Idle. Matt uses a fear point to make a jelly attack Snicks and hits him for 3 damage, or 1 HP. There's physical damage, and then there's like what it represents in their hit points. For those who are curious what I mean when I say 1 HP, just feel like explaining that. There's like little ticks that you have to mark off. It's one of the things that I kind of find a little weird about Daggerheart, but I don't hate it anymore. I used to not like it, but I'm more with it now. He spends another fear to make an attack against Misty with a skeleton. It hits her for 3 damage, meaning 1 hit point. August tries to put his flames out with a finesse roll of 15 with fear, and he is no longer on fire. He then flies towards the blue flames. He has a separate moth creature attached to his back, and he flies as far as he can towards the blue flames. I need to just talk about this for a second. This character are my 2 least favorite bugs of all time, wrapped into one. Spider and moth. How did he know? It sounds like I'm being attacked. Matt then makes a jelly attack Snicks, but it misses. Idle activates his spirit weapon, making his halberd float around and attack both jellies near him, killing them both. He runs towards the blue flames as they're running far range. He rolls a 20 with hope, so he can make it there no problem. Matt makes a jelly attack Brixton. It hits her. but she uses her armor to take no damage. She then uses one of her virtues to use a d20 as her hope dice. She uses her virtue, the strongest steel must first be tempered by the flame. She rolls a 25 with hope, hitting the jelly, dealing 11 damage to it. It looks rough, and then it splits into two. Snicks puts the fire out that is on the map by putting it in a damp place around him, and then he tries to pat the fire out with a 13, but he fails with hope. He takes 1 point of damage because of this. He then turns and runs towards the blue flames. Matt makes a skeleton attack Misty and hits, dealing 4 damage, but Brixton takes the hit for her, taking the 4 damage, and then uses a armor point to reduce that damage to 0, so no damage is taken. August then ice spikes next to Sticks to help him and rolls a crit. He then flies further down the path. Snicks, I said Sticks again, I'm going to keep messing that up for a while, I swear. Snicks tries to pat the flames out with the ice spike and gets a 19 with fear. He is no longer on fire. Matt then makes a skeleton attack Misty again and misses. He spends to make another swing against her with another skeleton and misses. He uses one more fear to make a jelly move and attack her and misses. Misty is a god. Misty then runs a far distance towards the rest of the party. She rolls a 9 with hope, making it only halfway there, but at least it was hopeful. Matt makes a skeleton attack Misty again and and finally hits for 3 damage, but she reduces it with armor, so 0 hit points are taken. Brixton uses her whirlwind ability to hit everything around her, dealing 5 damage, killing both the jellies nearby. She then does a close distance run to the rest of the party. August then casts ice spikes at a skeleton and hits, killing it with hope. They then turn and outrun the remaining skeletons, as they're not really all that important to kill. They have pushed further down the path. Idle says that was definitely the most dangerous thing they're going to encounter the entire time they're out here. Snicks tells Brixton that she was great back there. Brixton says that she spent a long time being a guardian of the pyre, and it was maddening. Brixton says that she would occasionally go out with some of the delvers, and as she kept doing it, she kept going deeper and deeper. She eventually found a body with her armor on it, and she says that it called out to her. It was meant for her, it was her calling. Idle rolls an instinct roll to see if she's not telling the whole truth. He rolls a 15 with hope, and she rolls an 11. He can tell that Brixton believes what she's saying, but she's a bit unhinged. Maybe the body was still alive and had the armor on it, who knows? But the armor looks like it came from the old world. The armor has a symbol of the old Amber Reach on it. For those in the military beneath the God King. Misty takes a look at the armor and takes her hand across it. She falls into a haze and hears echoes of shields clattering. She sees many army soldiers moving with a bright blue sky above. Soldiers off to some conquest. A memory that's hers or maybe not. Why does she remember this now? Misty tells them what they saw and thinks the armor is incredible. Brixton says that she's hid this from the scholars as it'll be taken away from her if she doesn't. She wants to bring back the knights of old. It's her destiny. Snicks thinks that she fought well and they need to keep going. The rest agree. Snicks leads the way with an instinct roll of 16 with hope. They follow the map and they see where they went wrong initially. They sort of missed an intersection because of the shadows, but now they're following the blue flames. They reach a fresh excavation site with tools that have been left behind as people excitedly made a discovery. There's a partially collapsed stone path that opens to a much larger area with a massive, beautiful gate. They come around a corner and smell burnt flesh. There's 2 blue flames in here that signify that this is where the excavation was. They see the shadow shapes on the ground, the shadow shapes of burnt corpses, and a large armored corpse on the ground as well. There's 4 corpses that have been burned. This is standard for those who fall to the Umbra, as its corruption will make them rise again if they don't. They see the gate guardian that Rascallo told them about before. It is a large skeletal creature with a hood on it. There is a very ornate crown on its head, and it has a massive scythe with its hooked blade, and that's likely what punctured so deeply into Rascallo. Snicks pretends to be upset for the dead people and starts to loot their bodies. He finds a Amber Reach shield on one of the bodies and a small pouch with a liquid that can repair armor. Snicks eventually was initially trying to hide it, but August made them come clean, And then August takes some of the stuff that Snicks was supposed to deliver to them beforehand anyway, clearing up some space so that Snicks can hold on to the liquid armor repairing stuff. The others take in the massive double gate that stands before them. That is believed to be the Firmament's Harrow. It's slightly pushed in, however, meaning someone's gone behind it. They get closer to the gate, and there's a trinket hanging from a nail on it, and a bloody hand mark. Likely where Valk went. Snicks goes to grab the crown on top of the skeleton, but a skeletal arm grabs his hand and comes back to life. The Gate Guardian then rises again. It's map time. The Gate Guardian does a sweeping strike, hitting both Misty and Snicks, dealing 11 damage to both. However, Brixton takes the damage from Misty, reducing the damage to herself a little bit. Brixton then uses 3 of her hope points to gain 2 armor slots back, which will be very important, because armor slots are important. Idle then casts Bolt Beacon on the Guardian, hitting it with fear, with dealing 12 damage, and it is made vulnerable, meaning those have advantage when they attack it, and it's now glowing, so people can always see it. Matt is up, the Guardian jumps up and lands behind Misty, and does a sweeping attack again. Brixton, Misty, and Idle are all hit this time for 9 damage, and whatever that equates to their hit points with. Misty, however, uses a armor point to reduce the damage a bit. August then flies on top of a pillar. More arms come out because it's his spider after all, and he casts Arcane Barrage using these arms. He pumps 4 points of hope into it, dealing 4d6 damage to this thing. He deals 11 damage total, doing a major wound to this thing. Brixton uses Unstoppable and then swings for the Guardian, hitting for 11 damage. But it seems to be resistant against non-magical physical damage, only taking half of that damage, so likely only 1 hit point done. It then screams and 2 skeletons suddenly stand, and they make a group attack. Idle is hit and takes 2 damage, so 1 HP. The Guardian then makes another sweeping attack and hits and crits on all 3 of them, Misty, Idle, and Brixton. They take 16 damage, which is severe damage to most of them. Misty uses armor to reduce the damage, and they need to run. They're not in good shape anymore. Then Snicks runs up and pulls out his boomerang. He closes his eyes and throws it, hitting with a fear of 17. However, he then adds 3 hope points to use what's known as hold them off, hitting all 3 skeletons with this damage. Matt asks him how he wants to do this as he kills all 3 of them by throwing the boomerang, because it was badass. They then decide to run through the gate and close it behind them before anything pops up, because they need to go after Valk. Idle grabs the trinket on their way through, and as they close the gate, there's a marble staircase that leads up behind them, and that's where the session ends. So there you have it. The first episode of The Age of Umbra has been officially recapped. The characters, in my opinion, are super fun. This whole thing is super fun. I'm interested in this new world that they're messing around with The Age of Umbra. It's kind of cool. I kind of can't wait to see more of what the Umbra actually is, like what it's like and what it's like to like sort of be stuck in it, because I imagine they're going to be stuck in it eventually. For those of you who don't know, the Umbra is like this forever present thing, but there's like a thicker version of it that sort of moves around, and if you get stuck in that, you're in deep shit. So curious as to see what's going to happen when they get stuck in that, because that'll be cool and very exciting one day. But until then, we won't know what they do. I'm interested into seeing like what Laura and Liam do, because they're not here yet, and they're kind of in a spot where I highly doubt there's any people living beyond this gate except for maybe Valk, unless there's like some sort of underground society, which there could be, so who knows. Looking forward to seeing whatever those characters end up being. A lot of people thought they were going to be here in episode 1. I saw 0 confirmation on that, so I was like, maybe not. But who knows? Maybe my predictions will still be right for their characters. I'm excited to see that. Anyway, I will see you guys on Tuesday for whatever video I make next. And for those of you who like streams, I stream on Sunday, Monday, and Wednesday. So if you want to see me before Tuesday, Monday and Sunday, they're both available still. Well, they're always available. Anyway, I'll see you guys then. Peace.